Very basic logo and slogan appears with two dogs looking at the camera in the backdrop. Coming up on today's video, we take our dogs exploring in the Peak District. Cyclists passing us by. Camera pans past the sign with a hillscape in the distance. Christy walking dogs with hills and lakes below. Christy and the dogs in a stream. Camera pans around the ruins. The GPS and what free words can be found here and in the description. Video chapters relate to the marked map locations, and feel free to pause here to inspect our route. Let the journey begin. I appear in front of the camera, going up a hill and the hillside behind me. Farmland shrouded in fog and mist is beyond that.
One of my favourite destinations. Why?
The dogs Valor and Lumi
It offers
appear
so
led by
much
Christy
variance.
going
There's
up
3
a hill
car
with a
parks.
stone wall boundary on
You
the
can
right.
make it a linear walk, a circular walk, or you can go exploring. Whatever you wish to do this day, it's
The camera pans away from Christy and the dogs, and the view of the landscape is around us.
It can get very windy up here, depending on the weather, so prep. I've always got my coat on in my bag and all those supplies.
The camera is panning
got
left,
Lumi,
following
our
Christy and the
family
dogs
dog
up the
with
hill
us.
and along the path.
And it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Let's journey on.
Christy is leading the dogs, and Valor and Lumi across the road on a lead. The camera is now on the opposite side of the road, following Christy and the dogs up a small hill. Christy and the dogs go through a small gate that is held open to let me go through with the camera. The camera pans left the way we came, before stopping and focusing on a sign pointing onwards and noting Shining Tor. Lumi, our border collie cross family dog, is running up and down the hillside. I appear in front of the camera, walking up a hill with the hillside behind me and a dark ominous clouds overhead.
So, what I'm going to try and do is get as much footage as possible today, but it is very windy. We might be using a lot of time lapses in between the hikes and whatnot as we prep ourselves.
The camera is now on the pathway. Christy is walking on the path as the dogs run
these
around
views.
everywhere exploring.
Right, I'm going to go back off. See you in a bit.
The camera is slowly walking down a path some distance away is Christy, and beyond that, the dogs running around exploring. We switch to a time-lapse shot as we pursue the dogs following the path and with a stone wall boundary to our right. The camera is now still on the path. In the distance, Lumi is racing fast towards me as the camera tilts down to greet her. The first part of this journey is an open playground for dogs, but as always, be respectful of other hikers, cyclists and joggers while adventuring through this land. We are all stopped shortly off the path as a group of cyclists go on by. The dogs are released and they zoom onwards, keeping to the path slightly, and we follow them onwards. Christy and both dogs on lead as they approach the gate leading to the trig points the camera follows on through. The trail to and from Cats Tor and Shining Tor is one of the great beauties. Don't forget to look around as you adventure through this trail, as there are so many sights to see and behold. One thing that you will notice very quickly when journeying here is the wind. It's always around the corner and it's always evident at the trig point. The camera walks past the trig point as it pans around the hill, revealing the land below. I couldn't record the sounds due to the wind, but this is truly a good vantage point. Take in those views. If you've prepped a snack or a picnic, lay down and relax, but don't forget to clean up after yourself. The camera retreats back to the trig point to observe the dogs from a distance. The dogs love exploring this area, but keep an eye on them when they look at those views. The dogs and the camera meet each other. After a quick greeting, we all leave the area. The camera briefly focuses on the benches outside the trig point before panning left towards the paths onwards that Christy and the dogs start walking along. And the dogs pass by the camera as it pans left to show a crossroads and a signpost in the distance. camera pans left, following Christy along the route. I stand still, watching Christy and the dogs walk into the distance. The camera fades to look around the landscape. I appear in front of the camera. Landscape and reservoir are in the far distance of the backdrop.
This reservoir in the distance, another part you could explore in the future. It's absolutely amazing views along the way. We're going to go down this trail and venture on.
The camera now focuses on Christy walking the dogs down the path with the landscape and reservoir as the backdrop. The camera is now further down the hill, the reservoir still in the backdrop but much closer. There's now a wooden gate to the left along the stone wall that Christy and the dogs head towards. Valo seems reluctant to go. The camera is now at and going through the aforementioned gate. The path now in front of the gate goes downhill, surrounded by a plethora of trees and flora lining the path area and landscape below. I appear in front of the camera, standing beside a stream surrounded by trees, and in the backdrop to the left is a dirt path leading away.
Lumi and Valo in the background there.
The camera goes around the stream and focuses on the dogs playing and drinking in the stream.
I might stop over and have a drink myself. Maybe a pull pie too. Alright, let's venture on.
I'm standing with the camera focused on a horseshoe-shaped path. As I follow Christy and the dogs around it, leading onwards and down. I appear in front of the camera, standing in the middle of the crossroads, a stone wall to my left, but a pathway leading away on either side of me.
You turn right to Errwood Hall and to the bottom car park. From there you can join the road all the way back up to either Shining Tor or the upper car park. You turn left,
pans left and tilts up to show a steep hill.
And you venture all the way up that steep incline back to Shining Tor. Alright, let's venture on.
The camera is following Christy and the dogs down a pathway, surrounded by foliage and trees on either side. I appear in front of the camera. In the backdrop is a path that splits off into two paths, and Christy takes the dogs down the path on the left.
Turn left, you go to Errwood Hall. If you turn right, you go to the bottom car park. Let's go explore the hall.
I appear in front of the camera. Behind me is a beautiful assortment of bushes, flowers, and beyond that, trees. The camera starts to rotate around before fading onto the ruins that Christy and the dogs are exploring.
These amazing ruins. Absolutely stunning and well worth the travels. You can see Valo and exploring them in the backdrop.
I appear in front of the camera once again. I'm stood on a pathway, but in the backdrop a beautiful assortment of flowers,
venturing back now
trees.
Down the trail, back to the car park. It's an absolutely beautiful day out here, both for exercise, journey, sightseeing, or looking at old ruins and absolute lovely flora and flowers. The Peak District always has something to offer. You just need
camera
to know
fades, looking at some beautiful purple flowers. The camera pans right, showing more of them down the path.
Enjoy this journey, and I hope it creates future travel plans. Peak District and the rest of the UK has so much to offer and see.
I appear briefly in front of the camera, surrounded by trees. The camera fades to be looking down at Valo and Lumi, dipping their paws in a small pooling stream.
In the meantime, get dogs some water. There are tons of places here with the running streams so the dogs can get water. It's quite friendly here, and it's probably one of the reasons we love this.
The camera is now pursuing Christy and the dogs down the path. The woods come to an opening and we journey through a gap in the stone wall and down the trail to the car park. I appear in front of the camera. I'm stood on a dirt track at the side of a road in which a few motorbikes are driving on.
To the top car park. The first bit is alongside a road, so just be very careful. Keep the dogs on lead. Now there are paths and benches along the way for you to take in the sights and rest.
The camera fades to looking down at Christy and both dogs taking a well-deserved break in the car park. They look tired and disappointed that only the humans got the ice cream.
Dogs are really out of it. Oh, we're about halfway, boys. And girl.
The camera is walking along a dirt path through an open woodland area with the road on the right.
Ice cream. We venture along the path, up the road, back to our car park. There are some lovely sights along the way, but As you can see, it does go along a road, so keep the dogs on lead, be safe, and journey on.
I appear in front of the camera on the other side of the road, now walking along another path up the hill and alongside the road.
We've done this walk several times, and every time it feels different, but always you feel invigorated after it. Beautiful views, very dog friendly, but it's such an amazing journey, and I hope it inspires future travels. We're a stone's throw away from the car park. I'll see you there.
The camera is now on a time lapse, going up the hill on a dirt path with the road on the left and a barbed fence on the right. The camera is now at the top of the hill, facing the way we've came. It slowly pans left to reveal the route to the car park. Vallo is laid down beside the car. Christy is knelt down, giving him a good wash and scrub. A little pamper at the end of a long day out, as this will help to get rid of the majority of the dirt and prevent it from setting in. We use a mud daddy to clean them while out, but give them a good clean and dry when we get home. Christy and the dogs are walking down a hill. Vallo stops to pee on a bush, then the words outtakes and funny moments appear on the screen.
Don't take life too serious. We don't, and nor does Valor.
Christy has stopped along the path to untangle
And
the
we're
dog
dealing
leads.
with some tangled leads.
Vallo smelling foliage and refusing to walk on.
Ryan spends most of his journey catching up and worrying about wind. There's so much wind.
I stand in front of the camera with the hillside behind me.
Work out. I fell.
I'm in front of the camera with an assortment of flowers behind me.
More beautiful. I'm not saying ruins aren't beautiful.
Christy and the dogs walking around the ruins.
And Vallo's already after snacks.
Lumi posing on the ruins for Christy to take a photo, Vallo having a pee on the ruin. I'm in front of the camera, walking alongside
In the middle of a shot, talking about safety, I see Lumi darting across to get a ball. Sigh.
The screen fades and a photo of Vallo wearing Christy's denim battle jacket is displayed on the right hand side of the screen. I'm glad you made it to the end. Vallo and I really appreciate it, and I apologise for my humour, but something needs to make up for my monotone voice. If you want more of this content and are a glutton for punishment, consider subscribing to the channel. Please check out our other content, you might find something you like, and check out Vallo's Instagram, the link is in the description. But most of all, leave a comment. I want to interact and learn from the feedback you give. We wish you all the best on your journey, whatever form that takes. Goodbye now.